self-taught, and I started teaching myself after I'd been working on ranches for a while, and we had a family. Wendy and I had 2 children. There's always been a connection with the landscape, and it's just been a wonderful transition from working on ranches, which is a sustainable way of working in the country, and I went from that to painting it and enjoying it more visually than in a ranch way. I like the western landscape with a long reach on the vistas, where there's an open country with blue mountains on the skyline, good clouds, and just it's nice to take something that I appreciate into art. We moved to this place in 1990, built a studio, and been working with it ever since. My parents sent me a Christmas box, and when I opened it, there was a wool sweater in there, which I needed for winter in Texas, a Christmas tree about this tall, electric one you plug in, worked for about 2 years, and a blank sketchbook. And I started drawing again, and every evening. So since the late 70s, since then I've been drawing every day. And that itself translates into etchings very wonderfully. There's a kind of a correlation between pen and inks and etching, and then that is kind of a mechanically dominated art form where you have to work in the studio. So it's fun to take a paint box and go out into the country and paint like an 8x10 or a panel that size. Bring home something more spontaneous and fresh. So the painting and the etching, they seem to balance each other. A landscape does not really work for me without design. So like this is just an example here where it's fun to catch the sunlight and shaded snow. Just playing with essences of design are part of the way I like to go for things. Etchings really lend themselves to that because there's a lot of just a lot of line work with the way I work with etching. I use a lot of hard ground with an etching needle. And then sometimes I'll go back and accentuate the design further with some large gray areas that are etched with a technique called aquatint. It's an involved process to translate it, an ink drawing onto paper. But once it's there, once it's etched into a copper plate, it's an image that can be hand printed in an edition. I usually edition prints in editions that are less than 100 a piece. I feel like it's more fun to make new etchings than it is to print them. And for collectors, it's nicer to have small editions. Etchings that are smaller have a more gem-like quality, where every line becomes more important. There's another etching here that's kind of along different lines, but this one is called Infinite Wisdom, and it's more of a gestural and a character study than a real design element. But after I had etched it, I pulled a proof, I looked at it, And I thought, these guys look like infinite wisdom. And so the title came later, but when it did, I felt like, in a way, the etching changed. In many different ways, I'm kind of old school. And technology is really pushing its way into the art world, where computer manipulation is, even in printmaking, people do a lot of work with photographs on computers. But being old school, I still really enjoy to see the hand of the artist. And I like to present my art where people can feel the hand that did this. The traditional aspects of etchings, I am happy to carry that on.